Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up because the Houston Texans are absolutely shaking up the foundation of the AFC South. We are tracking critical roster decisions happening right now that set the table for a championship run. But there is a sudden storm brewing that nobody saw coming. While the front office is busy locking down the trenches with smart tactical moves, a former player has decided to throw gasoline on the fire with shocking comments about the face of our franchise. And if that wasn't enough, there are credible whispers of a massive offensive weapon landing in H-Town. You need to hear every single detail immediately.
Let's get straight to the business at hand, because the Houston Texans are not wasting a single second of this offseason. According to sources within the organization, the team has officially secured offensive lineman Jarrett Kingston on a one-year extension worth $1.1 million. This move effectively prevents him from hitting the market as a restricted free agent and locks him in for the upcoming battle. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. You are sitting there saying, Stephen A., why are we starting the show talking about a depth piece on the offensive line? Why does this matter? Let me tell you exactly why this matters. This is the difference between a franchise that crumbles under pressure and a franchise that sustains excellence. You cannot build a mansion on a foundation of sand, and Jarrett Kingston provides the concrete this offensive line desperately needs. We all watched the games last year. We saw the injuries pile up. We saw the scrambling, the panic, and the absolute chaos when the starters went down. Nick Caserio is a smart man. He knows that in the National Football League, availability is the best ability. Jarrett Kingston offers versatile depth that is absolutely critical for the survival of this offense. He isn't just a warm body, he is an insurance policy for the most important asset on the field. When you look at the grueling 17-game schedule the Texans have to face, having a guy who knows the system, who has been grinding in the locker room, and who is ready to step up at a moment's notice is invaluable. $1.1 million is a steal for peace of mind. It sends a message to the entire roster that if you do your job, if you put in the work, we will take care of you. It builds culture. The Texans are trying to create a standard of excellence, and that starts with the guys who do the dirty work in the trenches, the guys who don't get the commercials or the jersey sales. Kingston represents the grit of this team. We have to stop looking at these moves in a vacuum. Every dollar spent on the offensive line is a direct investment in the quarterback. It is a shield. If you don't respect the depth chart, you don't respect the game of football. It is that simple. So while the headlines might not scream blockbuster on this one, the impact on Sunday is undeniable. You win games in the fourth quarter when everyone is tired, and you need fresh legs on that line to pave the way. That is what this signing is about. However, all this talk about protecting the quarterback and building a fortress around him implies that the quarterback is the undisputed leader we all think he is. We assume everything is perfect in paradise. But what if I told you that not everyone who has worn the Texans uniform buys into the hype? What if I told you there is a voice from the past trying to tear down our present?
Listen, the NFL news cycle moves at the speed of light, and you cannot afford to be left behind on these stories. If you want the real truth and exclusive insights on the Texans delivered straight to you, smash that subscribe button right now.
This next story has my blood boiling, and it should offend every single Texans fan listening right now. Reports have surfaced that a former Houston Texans player has publicly expressed concerns, raising what he calls red flags regarding CJ Stroud. We are talking about criticism directed at his behavior and performance. Are you kidding me? Are we watching the same game? This is absolute blasphemy. CJ Stroud came into this league and did things rookies simply do not do. He transformed a franchise that was the laughingstock of the NFL into a legitimate powerhouse overnight. And now we have a ghost from the past trying to haunt the present? This sounds like sour grapes to me. This sounds like someone who is bitter that they aren't part of the new era of glory in Houston. When you look at the tape, the leadership, the poise in the pocket, Stroud checks every single box. He is the definition of a franchise quarterback. So when I hear about red flags, I want to see the receipts. Where are these flags? Because all I see are touchdowns, record-breaking passing yards, and wins. This kind of noise is dangerous because it tries to create a narrative that doesn't exist. It tries to plant a seed of doubt in the minds of the fans and the locker room. But I know this team is stronger than that. I know Stroud is mentally tougher than that. In the modern NFL, everyone wants a hot take. Everyone wants to be the one who predicted the downfall. But let's look at the reality. The reality is that Stroud has unified this city. He has given hope to a fan base that was starving for it. To come out now and question his character or his ability is not just disrespectful, it is delusional.
The source of these comments needs to look in the mirror and ask themselves if they ever achieved a fraction of what this kid has done in just 1 year. I will not stand for slander against a young man who has conducted himself with nothing but class. The media loves to build you up just to tear you down, but the Texans family needs to circle the wagons here. We need to protect our guy, not just on the field with linemen like Kingston, but off the field against these unwarranted attacks. This is a distraction, plain and simple, and great teams know how to handle distractions. They ignore them. They crush them with performance. Maybe they see something we don't? No, I refuse to believe it. The eyes don't lie, the stats don't lie, the wins don't lie. This is an attempt to stay relevant. But let's pivot from the noise to the solution. The best way to silence the critics is to give Stroud weapons that are undeniable. We are talking about a move so big it would make the rest of the league tremble. What if the Texans land a future Hall of Famer?
Now we get to the main event that could shift the power balance of the entire league. The rumor mill is spinning out of control, and the Houston Texans are emerging as a prime destination for none other than Mike Evans. We are talking about one of the most consistent, dominant receivers in NFL history, potentially wearing steel blue. Let that sink in for a second. Mike Evans, a guy who has started his career with 10 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. That is Jerry Rice territory. That is greatness personified. Adding him to this offense isn't just an upgrade, it is a cheat code. Imagine C.J. Stroud, who we just established is the real deal, dropping back and seeing Nico Collins on one side, Tank Dell in the slot, and Mike Evans on the outside. That is a nightmare for defensive coordinators. That is an offense that scores 30 points in its sleep. Evans brings something this team desperately needs: veteran savvy and red zone dominance. He is a safety blanket. When the play breaks down, when it's 3rd and long, you just throw it up to number 13 and let him go get it. He is a physical freak who demands a double team, which opens up the field for everyone else. This is the move that signals to the rest of the NFL that the Texans are all in. They aren't waiting for a window to open. They are kicking the door down right now. Can they afford it? You make it work. For a talent like this, you move money around, you restructure contracts, you do whatever it takes. This is the type of acquisition that changes the geometry of the field. It accelerates the development of your young quarterback by giving him a target who rarely drops the ball and knows how to get open against any coverage. I get goosebumps just thinking about it. The swagger he would bring to Houston would be infectious. He is a competitor, he is a dog, and putting him in this offense with Bobby Slowett calling the plays, it is unfair. It is borderline illegal. This is the missing piece. We have the quarterback, we have the defense, we have the coaching. Now we need the superstar firepower on the perimeter to match the heavyweights in the AFC. You have to beat the Chiefs. You have to beat the Ravens. Mike Evans gives you the firepower to go toe-to-toe with anyone. If Nick Caserio pulls this off, build the statue. Seriously, it would be a masterclass in roster construction. We're talking about a seismic shift in the power balance of the division. This isn't just a rumor I want to happen, it is a rumor that needs to happen. But with great expectations comes immense pressure. If you assemble this super team, if you bring in the stars and pay the money, there are no more excuses. The time for moral victories is over. We're staring at a season where anything less than a deep playoff run will be considered a failure.
This is a defining moment for the Houston Texans. We have secured the depth with Kingston. We are fighting off the critics surrounding Stroud, and we are on the verge of potentially landing a legend in Mike Evans. The front office is aggressive, the stakes are higher than ever, and the world is watching. Now I need to hear from you. Is Mike Evans the final piece of the puzzle, or should the team focus that money on the defense? Do the comments about Stroud worry you, or is it just noise? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now, because I read every single one of them. We are building something special here, and you are a part of it. Stay tuned.